America may be the land of opportunity, but a $70 million cricket stadium with room for 20,000 spectators? Well, that was some challenge.
There was a very big learning curve being in America, and this being the very first of its kind in North America. It was a tremendous task for the county and the city to learn what actually needed to be in the facility, what type of amenities would be appropriate, what would the ICC want in order to become ODI certified and be able to host international games. So we had a learning curve.
The Central Broward Regional Park is testament to the passion of the Caribbean community and the vision of the local government. It's the first of its kind anywhere in the States, and that posed some unique problems.
Yeah, that's our biggest challenge here. It's getting the materials. I mean, even as simple as finding a 1 1/4 inch rope for a boundary. Sight screens, I had to pick pictures off and have our county build them for us, because otherwise everything's to be imported.
The stadium is part of an ambitious project put together by a new dynamic chief executive.
Project 15 is to try and professionalize cricket in the United States with its management, with its players, with its coaching staff. We now have a stadium, we need to have national training camps, we need more stadiums in the United States, and we need leagues, we need professional leagues. And I want to do that in time for the next World Cup that we can qualify for. We cannot qualify until the 2015 World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. So I like it to the fact that Project 15 is kind of a 6-year plan. The second goal, we've never had cricket of any elite level, full member nations played in the United States. So we created something called Destination USA. And Destination USA is to be a neutral venue. We want Australia to come play India in the United States. We want England to come play South Africa. We want the West Indies to come play New Zealand.
This is not mere bravado. The United States Cricket Board has the backing of the game's governing body.
We're very keen. We couldn't be keener, in fact. We've identified the US and China as what might be termed our 2 target markets, and I suppose our objective is to see indigenous Americans playing the game from school and youth up. There's a great tradition, of course, of cricket in the US. The first US v Canada game took place 170 years ago. There's huge potential there, and quite a lot of history too.
Through the Pepsi ICC development programme, cricket has become a truly global sport. Reaching new nations and new continents, the ICC have over 100 membered countries, a figure which has doubled in little more than a decade. They've committed to investing over $300 million in the global development of the sport over 8 years. For some teams, the results have been obvious. Top associates closing the gap on the full members. The United States Cricket Association is hoping the stadium in Fort Lauderdale will just be the start. Attracting people to these parts has never been a problem. More than 60 million holidaymakers flock to the Sunshine State each year.
Once we see a true international game and we bring in people from all over the United States as spectators, because I truly believe there's a market in Chicago, New York, California, that when they see the amount of tourism that is brought here, both domestically and internationally, I believe that will be a true shock to most people who are not familiar with the sport of cricket.
We now have about 15 million fans in the United States. We're the number 1 or 2 internet and pay-per-view viewers of cricket in the world. And if you take Canada and the United States, we actually have a bigger internet population than India. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, that tells you that North America is really hungry for good cricket. The state of cricket in the United States is ready to take off.
The world's strongest economy. A population for whom watching and talking about sport is a national pastime. The best in the world when it comes to putting on a show. All the ingredients are there, something which hasn't escaped the attention of those in the marketing arena.
With the introduction of the 2020, obviously it shortened the time span of the game. There's a lot more interest there. I think the interest is going to become a little more feverish once the United States does enter the cricket playing field, and once they start qualifying for all those championship tours and games that are coming up, I think the interest in the United States would spike. I think they've done something similar in soccer, but again, they will do hopefully the same service to cricket in the US as they have been doing for soccer.
It may not be visible on the surface, but more than 35,000 people across 30 states are involved in some form of organised cricket, while tens of thousands more are also playing the game informally. If anything can reach out to a new audience, especially an American one, then it's 2020. The short format would work from a spectator's point of view, but more importantly, in an already congested TV schedule for the broadcasters.
It would have to appeal to a young audience. I think that's obvious. And there are sports, what I would still call niche sports, that have managed to gain a foothold. Some of the extreme sports with motocross, with the motorcycles, or the Tony Hawks of the world, the Daredevils, and the ultimate fighting. What we used to call the cage fighting. They've gained an audience in certain areas. I just, what I know of cricket and the decorum and the way that it's presented as it is now, I think it would have to become, if you forgive the expression, a little more colorful, maybe, to get the attention of the demographic that you need to get in this country.
T20 is a key part of the strategy for the United States Cricket Association. Modern society demands instant gratification. Win or bust, T20 fits the bill.
This 2020 game is probably the perfect storm for us. We've got a stadium. Now 2020 is a sport and a game that kind of fits the American eye. It's swashbuckling, just 120 balls, so you go for it. And if 10 or 11 guys can't hit 120 balls out of the park as often as possible, we get that in America. We like high scoring, and we like something that has risk involved to it.
The ICC T20 World Cup is reshaping cricket across the globe, once again giving associate members a chance to show their true talents. In 2009, the Netherlands caused one of the biggest upsets in cricket, a result that put them on the map.
You beauties, Netherlands, you've played brilliant cricket here in this first game.
For Ireland, it was more of a reminder to the Test nations that the win against Pakistan in 2007 was not just a one-off. Beating Bangladesh, they made it through to the Super 8s, another leap forward for their team.
Good strike, wonderful strike.
So there's no reason why the USA can't be the next Ireland.
Ireland winning by 6 wickets, and St. Patrick's Day all over again.
One of the things we're hoping to do is to sort of endear ourselves not only to the commercial party, but also to show them that there could be an ROI, return on their investment, that the sport is an emerging sport. We have over 15 million cricket fans in the United States. In fact, for the 2007 World Cup, the pay-per-view viewership of the World Cup, the United States was second to India in terms of people paying to view the cricket. So clearly there's a market there, a lucrative market for sponsors to come in to get their message out. And so we're using to appeal to the sponsors that there's a specific demographic to which they can move their product through cricket.
Even more important will be the next generation. But as we'll find out, they aren't short of talent or confidence.
And I'm a keeper and a batsman, and I love to keep because I get to talk to the batsman and make him aggressive, so he started making mistakes. And